My name is Mark Elia, lifetime butcher, instructor, retired instructor from the Culinary Institute of America. Today's purpose is for the New York State Beef Council and myself to show you how we can utilize the boneless strip loin and get your maximum profit possible. Now, this piece of meat right here is upwards of $100 for this piece, upwards of about $100. So you look at that and say, wow, $100 for that little piece of meat. Wow, I got to make sure that I'm getting everything out of it. Well, if you were to just take this piece and just cut it into steaks, I could get 15 one-inch steaks out of this cut. Okay, that's fine. So you get 15 one-inch steaks, you sell them at $20 a pop, and you've got, what, $300, right? So, and then of course you have the ends here for different cuts. Maybe you cut a few kebabs or some shaved steak or whatever. But let's take it a couple steps further and let's make a petite roast. If we have a special, maybe we're doing a catering job and the customer just doesn't have the money to buy filet mignon. So we'll do something a little bit different. We can take the strip loin here and we'll make it into petite roast. We'll make some strip fillets. I'll show you how to do that. And basically we're just gonna, right now we're gonna trim it up. I'm gonna get it ready to be either seasoned and roasted, or we're going to cut it into different types of meals. First thing I wanna do is I wanna clean the bottom. If you look at the bottom, we have some bone connective tissue here. We have the, what I refer to as the rib track. This is where the 13th rib on the animal sits, and they separate the animal between the 12th and 13th rib for grading purposes. So I want to get all that out of there. That's all connective tissue. It does not cook well with a high dry heat. So we want to make sure we get that out of there. So I'm going to start by doing a flat trimming, taking this connective tissue off of here without sacrificing too much red. Okay, red is bread. Red is money. We need the red to go on the plate, not in the garbage can. So a sharp knife, lay it flat. Get that connective tissue out of there. Okay, get it out of there. Get a little tighter quarters. Here I have a little bit of a bone fragment. When these are manufactured at the slaughterhouses or at the so-called factories, these are done mechanically. So to get a small bone fragment there is not uncommon. That's why you have to do the field test, especially with something like this. I couldn't see that bone with my eye. As soon as I ran my hand over it, I felt it right away. I said, oh, I got to get that bone out of there. So you got to just take your hand and just rub it over here, run it down along the edge, and feel any bone fragments. You don't want those in your plate. Over here, I'm going to come around where that rib track was. We're going to get that out of there. Okay, got a little bit of connective tissue here. A little bit heavier silver skin I don't like. Get that out of here. Now this is not usable. This is unusable trim. Okay, here I'm going to be satisfied, I think. All right, we'll flip that over. Now we're going to work the top. We got too much fat here. Too much fat. But this is this trim specification is called 0x1, meaning that most of it is taken off. It's to some people in the industry, they'll think this is oven ready. I don't think it is. There is a band of connective tissue, like a collagen band, that runs right down along the top of this. And we're going to remove that. Just going to maybe about 2-3 fingers worth. We're just going to take and make a score across the fat so I know where to go. If you notice, I did not cut into the meat. That's only a line in the fat. I'm going to come underneath that, and I want to remove that collagen band. And in a minute, I'll show you why once I cut a few steaks. Okay. So we're removing the collagen band, which is very tough on a steak. It's in a minute, I'll show you. Once I cut a couple steaks off of here, I'll show you why we take that off of there. I'm a people watcher. when I see people in a restaurant, I like to see how they're eating. I like to see how do they cut their meat. Obviously I don't want to look like a stalker, but I'm always looking because I always want to make sure that I can verify my theories on why I do what I do. Now, I've been doing this for 46 years, so I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of good and I've seen a lot of bad. I'm here now to educate you on staying in business, all right? I've said it many times in the past. All your customers, they all have choices. What are you going to do to make them choose you, your restaurant? What are you going to do? Okay. I'm not going to take any more off of this. Notice I'm taking it off in layers because I'm just too worried about getting down into the red. Okay, so at this point, I've got my collagen band off. My bottom is clean. No connective tissues, no bone fragments. I've got enough fat trimmed off of here where I still have enough to cook with. And we are now ready to cut a few strip steaks. Okay. Make sure you flatten your edge out. If you have to shave off the edge, just for example here, this is just a little bit off here, okay? Well, you can only push it over just so much. It's going to come right back again. So that little edge right there, just as carefully and conservatively as you can, just trim this edge off so you have a nice straight wall to work with, nice straight edge. And what can I do with this? Well, if I have enough of it, I can use it for grind. I can use it for kebabs. Okay, now we're going to go to our 1 inch mark. We make our cut. Make our cut. Now, if you look at this steak carefully, you can see right here where this piece is missing. This is that heavy collagen band that we took off. Okay, that collagen band would have sat right there. All right. Watching people eat the way I do, I've seen so many people, they get the steak on their plate. First thing they do, they spin that dish around and they go right into this section of the steak right here. They don't start at the tail. They don't start underneath. They go right in here. Well, what's right there? This collagen band. This is just inedible. You can't eat it. You can't, nothing. This is just, sometimes it's so thick that it's hard to cut it with a knife. All right, look at that. You don't want that on your steak. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this piece, not just into steaks like we already have, but we're going to turn this into a petite roast and some strip loin fillets. How do we do this? We're going to split this right down the middle. First, I want to get rid of this tail. We don't want this tail on here. And the easiest way to remove the tail, which is from the eye muscle back, is to turn it over and just follow the natural seam. That's behind here. Because what we're going to do, we don't want a tail on here. That just became usable trim. Okay. Bring it back over again. And you can see now I have just the eye muscle. We're going to take this, we're going to split it right down the middle. Okay. Now we have this piece of steak literally cut in half. So we could take the one side, okay. At this point, we could have a strip loin roast, or if you chose not to have a roast, you could still tie it so it holds, you could still net it so it holds together better. And then we can take and we can make our steaks come off of here. Now we'll start with this end. Okay. Here's your strip loin fillets. Or these just could be petite steaks. I'm going to show you differently over here, okay? These can just be single serving strip loin steaks. And again, take a little bit more fat off after we see it. We can take some more fat off of it if we choose to. It's a nice little 5-ounce portion right there. Okay, and I still have the roast. Over here, we're going to do something a little bit different over here. I'm going to come in. I don't have to do it with the whole thing, but I'll show you. I'm going to get underneath the fat. Be very careful not to cut too much into the red. And I'm going to take this layer right off of here. Okay. And you can see there's more of that collagen band, but it thins out considerably. As it goes down the animal, it thins out considerably. If you look here, you can see where it's it would have been so much thicker here, and then it just thins out to where it comes nothing. That's what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to take the rest of this off. Okay, now might be a little bit of red on there, but that collagen band is just too much. You just don't want that. Okay, maybe a little bit of trim here, usable trim, and now I have my strip loin fillets. Excellent cut of meat. We could go all the way down with this. Okay, and I can still have a piece for a roast. Okay, so here what we learned today was we took the boneless strip loin at about $100 your cost, wholesale, and I showed you how we could make steaks, 1-inch thick, about 15 of them off of this particular one. I showed you how we could make petite strip loin steaks, smaller ones. We'll leave a little bit of fat cap on. Then we took a section and we took the fat completely off and we made strip loin fillets. Okay, excellent. No fat. A lot of people like that now. Okay, and I still have left for more roast if I choose to. Or I could just turn around and cut these more steaks. Whatever's working for your restaurant. I would take a little bit more of that fat off, but that is a beautiful, tender, delicious steak. Okay. Again, I could clean this off. Okay. Now, what else can I do with this? Well, when you get down towards the what we call the vein end, it has a tendency to be a little bit more connective tissue. So this would be a nice piece, again, to partially freeze it, shave it for shaved steaks. So we have our steaks, we have our petite steaks, we have our fillet, strip loin fillets, okay? You gotta make sure that you say strip loin fillet. Don't just say fillet because people are gonna think it's a filet mignon. You gotta be careful with that. Don't misrepresent. But I'm gonna assure you that there's not a lot of restaurants out there that are doing this. And if you do this, this will be one step closer to not closing your doors. Okay, so to recap what we've done here today is we've taken a boneless strip loin and we have made multiple different meals for you. We have taken the standard boneless strip steak, New York strip. There's many different names for the same cut of meat, but here we are, boneless, about 1 inch thick. Had I cut this piece all the way through, I would have gotten about 15 steaks out of that. So what we did is we took it a couple steps further. We split the strip loin in half lengthwise. We trimmed and netted to make a strip loin roast. Okay, it's very small, but very nice. Easy to carve, delicious. All right, strip loin roast. We took and we made some steaks by leaving the fat cap on. So we have like a petite strip loin steak. And then we have our strip loin fillet where we took all the fat off of the eye muscle completely and sliced it the thickness of what you would normally see as a filet mignon. These are not filet mignons. These are not filet mignons. These are strip loin fillets. My name is Mark Elia. In conjunction with the New York Beef Council, we are here today to teach you how to get maximum utilization out of the boneless strip loin. The New York Beef Council is your educational arm to this industry. They're there to help you. They're there to teach you. We're all suffering some tough times right now. You have to educate yourself. You have to be able to change with the times. If you don't change with the times are going to change you, and it's probably not going to be the change that you're looking for. So take advantage of your educational arm, the New York Beef Council. Pay attention to our videos, and I'm sure that you will enjoy a more profitable cut. Thank you.